Ah, Finland. Beauty, lakes, copious amounts of beer and rally races. Did you know they actually helped the Nazis fight the USSR? The Finnish gained independence in 1917 during the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. With a short struggle for freedom and then a civil war, they weren't doing too hot by the 1930s, and it was going to get much worse. Stalin had taken control of the USSR and was doing Stalin things. He was also demanding the ceding of the regions of Karelia, Sala, and Petsamo. They also wanted the destruction of Finnish defensive lines near the borders, and the Finns, obviously, refused, resulting in the Winter War, a 3-month-long conflict in the, you guessed it, winter. The Soviets would have extreme difficulty breaking through the Finnish defenses at the Mannerheim Line, as well as making their way through the hard-to-navigate and freezing Finnish countryside. They would end up suffering over 300,000 losses compared to the around 70,000 of Finland. But even with their defensive advantages, they could not defeat the sheer numbers and firepower of the Soviet forces, surrendering on the 13th of March 1940 and being forced to give up all of the regions demanded from the start of the war, as well as releasing a port in the Baltic Sea. By this point, the Soviets and the Germans had been best buddies, with the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact keeping them in non-aggression. That's until it happened. What's it? Millions of German soldiers poured over the border in Operation Barbarossa. You see, as Finland was grappling with the loss of their lands and economic misery, Germany was cooking the Allies in continental Europe, with the capture of France, the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, and many others. During this time, with Hitler being, Hitler, he wanted Eastern Europe under his rule, and Finland wanted what just so happened to be the most powerful Eastern European nation to leave them alone. So they signed a secret deal. When the Germans invaded the USSR, the Finns would help, and maybe, just maybe, they'd get some extra land from the USSR when they totally, definitely win.
Please note that it is my and many others' personal belief that the Finnish involvement on the side of the Nazis was not entirely their fault. They had just been beaten by the USSR and losing their lands. If they sided with the Germans, they could have maybe gotten something back, as well as the idea of a greater Finland being pushed by the Finnish nationalists in the nation. When the invasion began, Finnish forces alongside the Germans pushed into the USSR, making their way into previously occupied Finnish lands and other areas claimed by the Greater Finland idea. But after 1941, the offensive slowed as the surprise of Operation Barbarossa was gone, and the Soviet defenses were set up, leading to everybody's favorite war doctrine: trench warfare. Let's go! With the Finns and the Russians basically just sitting there and staring at each other with the occasional infiltration and sabotage. Then, at around 1944, the Germans were finally starting to lose in the south with Stalingrad, and the Allies were closing in on the monarchy. The Soviets mounted an offensive in Finland, successfully breaking through and taking key areas in the south. Finally, on the 19th of September 1944, the war ended, with the Finnish surrendering to the Soviets and returning to previous borders, as well as breaking ties with the Nazis and expelling their soldiers from the nation, which did result in some fighting in the north of Finland with many stationed German Wehrmacht soldiers in the area. But overall, the Finnish participation is the story of a newly formed country being bullied by nearby powers, having to side with another to defend its basic sovereignty.